the treasurer of the board of directors of the Backpack Project. We are a new nonprofit in Seattle, and we just had our very first fundraiser, our launch party for our program. The name of our event was the Art Orgy Explosion of Art for the Senses. We were very fortunate to have someone donate a really awesome space for our event. In downtown Seattle, really in the hub of where a lot of stuff happens, like in the same areas like the Pike Place Market, just lots of stuff going on. The building used to be a gun and pawn shop. Actually, it was one of the oldest ones in Seattle, or downtown Seattle, that was still holding out, and they closed up, and a friend of the executive directors bought the space to turn into a furniture consignment. So the space, I don't know how long it had been vacant, but the building itself is 100 years old, and then the back room was this area that they had turned into a firing range, and I don't know how legitimate this was, but they shot out pretty much a hole in the wall, like all the way through the plaster, through the brick, into through beams. It was like this pouring down of debris that was coming out of this hole.
Just because they're like that, when it's natural to interact. Well, I'm not holding back, ready to commence. Caught up in your blizzard, so confusing and intense. Synergy of two, energy gone wild.
We faced a lot of problems coming into trying to get together. Probably our most significant factor was time. We hadn't been together that long as an organization when this fundraiser came up, and the reason why we had to do it so fast is that we had this limited opportunity to use this space. So it's meant a lot of hard work by a lot of inexperienced people, such as myself, trying to get this event together. Everyone that was part of the Backpack Project, all the board members, the volunteers, we have day jobs. It's volunteer, it's nonprofit. So, we have people that are students. We have, not just students, but students that then also have jobs. We have professionals that have 40 hours a week jobs, salary jobs where, where you're working overtime, people that have 2 jobs. So keep in mind that this is not a venue. This is not a place where bands come and perform, or there's seats where there's tables in a stage where it's naturally set up for an audience, for even for a dance party. This is, it's gone from a pawn shop. We've ripped shelves off the walls. It's an old building with chipping paint. Not just chipping paint, chipping wall coming off. We couldn't even trying to paint the walls, and the wall is coming off with the paint. In order to fit as many people there that we were anticipating, we needed to create some space, and space then that would also allow for dancing, space that would allow for performances, space where people could go up and see the art really easily. The turnout was really impressive. I was really, really pleased with it. When we first started talking about the crowd that we were going to try to attract, I was like, no way can we get that many people. We're so small. And we did. We're estimating that from at least start to end, we probably had about 400 people or so. We had a couple of different rooms throughout it. There were 2 main rooms, but then there was like a loft that was off to the side where we turned it into the lounge, and that was one of the best spaces. Like what we ended up doing with it, it was really, really cozy, and with the art that sold there. A lot of art sold up that was up in that room because it was just such a pleasant place to be. So many people were there. we called in a lot of favors for this event. We got some exceptional performers, and all of which were obviously were donating their time. We had a few bands. We had some bands, a band of social workers, actually very fitting for an event helping homeless youth. We had acoustic bands. We had bands that were electro. We had a New Order cover band. Awesome. It was good. It was a lot of crowd pleasers. We had some fabulous drag queens, actually, some local drag queens. We had Jackie Hell as our as the MC, and she did a fabulous job. She's pretty out there, but it was great. We had DJs. We had several DJs, actually. Gosh, I don't know how long they spun, but they seemed to they spun all night. We had this dance party that was just rocking for hours. So everything that we made, like from the bar and from the door donations, all of that, went directly into the organization. I think one of my favorite things about the whole event was that 70% went to the project, but the other 30% went to the artists. And I love the fact that we were supporting local artists. But we also had art from like artists all over the world. We had art coming in from Australia. We had just such an impressive amount of art that was incredibly diverse. So let me just take a moment to tell you what the Backpack Project does. We provide backpacks that are stuffed full of really helpful stuff for homeless and transitional youth. Just things that really make life on the streets a lot easier. We're going to create a network of providers that primarily serve homeless youth. And then what will happen is when these youth show up at these various agencies, when they engage in counseling services, when they get an STD check, things that are good for their well-being, that it's positive reinforcement, they can then get this backpack. What they can do with this backpack, aside from accepting, is that they can go back to the Backpack Project with a voucher that they get for a $50 stipend to stuff more backpacks. So it's paying it forward, and it ends up becoming this for youth by youth event. One of the things we're most excited about putting into these backpacks is an all-encompassing resource guide for youth. There's a lot of resource guides out there, but not one specifically for homeless youth. And when you're homeless, you might not have a cell phone. You might, but you might not. You're not going to have easy access to the internet. And so with this resource guide, they're going to be able to look up where they can go to get job assistance, where they can go to get a free meal, where they can go get clothes, where they can go to a drop-in center. It's going to connect them to providers that will help them. There's so many providers in Seattle right now, all doing various things for homeless youth. And it's just a matter of getting these kids connected to these different places and letting them know what is available to them, because the resources are there. It's about then connecting them to these resources. And that's one of those things that we're just the most excited about with this project, being able to connect the youth. We are so super excited about how successful it was. It really, I can't believe how many people came out. The turnout was amazing. We raised a lot of money and we got a lot of donations. That now we can really get that next phase started, where we're putting together the backpacks and getting it out there. We got our name out there with the community. We had so many youth that came, and so we were able to connect with our target demographic. We had tons of providers that showed up to find out what we were about and what was going on, and so it was a great opportunity for us to network with these providers that provide the services. It was really great, and now we're officially out there. We've launched, and we'll see where it goes from here. It'll be good. I'm excited.